open myself up even more, because like this movie is much better than I hoped. Like, normally you have your part of why imagination is important is, often reality intrudes and your dreams are crushed.
Hi, Dash.
Hi.
Nice to meet you. Thank you so much for your time.
No, thanks for talking to me.
Yes, of course. I really enjoy watching. I think it was very unique, innovative, like very nice CryptoZone. I really enjoy it. So I want to start. I think everybody asked the same questions, but what was the inspiration for this animation?
It was a few things kind of coming together. One was just the idea of drawing as our only way of seeing imaginary beings. They can't be photographed, and like drawing can be a direct kind of circuit to our imaginations and the imaginary world. And I had seen an unfinished film by Winsor McCay, one of like the great early animators, called The Centaurs. So I was like, oh, he had this idea, and if it's on YouTube, and it's like a very kind of like sexy 2.5 minute thing of these half nude centaurs in a dark forest. And so the fact that it was unfinished made it kind of like extra inspiring. Like this genius of animation had this idea, but it kind of allowed me to like fill in what that movie might have been like. And then the other thing is I make these movies with my wife, Jane, and she had an all-women's Dungeons and Dragons group. And so I think that kind of inspired trying to write something that she would enjoy painting. She painted most of the cryptids in the movie, most of the creatures. And like in retrospect, I think it kind of inspired the mostly female cast of the movie, because the CRYPTOZOO's primarily 3 women. So I think all of those things kind of stewing together at once. Maybe it's a couple other things in the pot.
Yeah, it's all like hand drawing, right? Pretty much you guys start like that. I was gonna ask like how's like work with your wife? You have like this collaborate every day, and now like in this project, how was like this dynamic? How did you guys like make it work?
Well, we had made another film before this called High School Sinking, that my entire high school singing in the sea, that was very difficult, and I was kind of trying to rope her on board to this thing, but by the time it came to CryptoZoo, she has what she calls takeover-itis, where she's like slowly taking over more of the project and kind of banishing me from certain aspects of making the movie. So we kind of part of what helped is we figured out how to separate each other so that we're kind of not always arguing over the same thing, but and then made this incredible Google spreadsheet of every shot of the movie and the steps it had to take, and to interns through the Google sheet, so that there were not a lot of like face-to-face arguments. It was usually like a Google moderator of kind of writing in Jane saying, you need to redraw this arm. And so, in the morning I could sit down, and if I wanted to look at what my notes were, I'd be like, okay, I'll redraw that arm, rather than me in the middle of drawing, the door opens, Jane
Can you
Waltz,
do it? Yeah.
redraw that arm, and I'm like, come on, I just, we kind of figured out some ways to a good life hack.
Yeah, I love that, because I also share some projects with my husband, and then we try not to clash. That's why I'm asking like how you handle that. That's amazing. Also, I want to salute you on the voice cast, which is amazing. Like you, Michael Cera, Louisa Krause, and all of them, Lake Bell. And when you were writing, like, did you have them in mind, or that came afterwards?
It's scary to have people in mind because you might not get them, and you're trying to just make it the person on the page. But I knew I wanted Thomas J. Ryan. He had been in my first movie, and I knew him, so I thought I could get him. So Nicholas, that part was kind of written for him, but the other ones, no.
Yeah, it's better. And like in this whole process, what was like the most challenge part for you as a director, producer? Like,
Well, it took many years. It was a 5 year, and that's working on it every day, drawing and painting all these things. And because we're a small production, I'm not only am I recording the voice actors, I'm also like trying to figure out how to paint some grass and draw this person's arm in a particular way. So I think that the fact that it involved all those different disciplines helped over all of those years, because there was kind of, if I got bored of doing one thing or frustrated with one thing, there was another kind of aspect to engage with. But the challenging part was maybe organizational, and also just like socially knowing, as I'm sure you can guess from you work on something that long, your mind, you really wonder if you've lost sight of why some things are in the movie. And part of making movies is other people will tell you when you have a bad idea or not. So it becomes quite confusing to know what to fight for and what to hold on to. I don't know if I'm communicating myself well. Sorry for the ramble, but
no, but I understand. Sometimes we start like with an idea when we decide something in the middle of the movie, and then suddenly, like 3 months later, and sometimes you cannot. Why I decided like this way, you know what I mean? I understand, because it took too many years, like to get to the final product. I understand what you mean. Like sometimes it's very unique. Like you have a unique idea, and sometimes you want to change it, but you don't know why you picked that at
For
first.
example, the movie is very colorful, but we start in darkness, with these two lovers in the dark. And that was my idea, of course, at like the script stage, that I knew that it would be like these two people and they're stumbling across the CRYPTOZOO, and it would be more meaningful to see the CRYPTOZOO from their eyes at the beginning. That would be more meaningful. And then also the color later in the movie would feel more colorful, because we're kind of emerging out of this dark space. But every 2 months someone would say, why does the movie start like this? Like, we should put all the color in the very beginning of the movie, and like it's exciting and it lets people know what the movie is. And so every couple months I'd have to try to re-articulate why I thought this was the right idea. And of course, some months I would think, maybe they're right, maybe I shouldn't start the movie this way, maybe I'm an idiot, so that kind of thing. For the record, I'm glad we start the movie that way, but
no, I think makes sense. Like you start like that situation, and then everything becomes more colorful, and I like that too. So I want to ask you, why the baku is like baku is more important in the story?
Yeah, I had the baku, it's a dream-eating hybrid creature, and I had heard of it because I love Japanese comics, and there's an experimental kind of manga anthology called Comic Baku, and there's a hokusai drawing of the baku from the 1800s. Anyway, the idea of dream eating felt like a great movie idea, because movies can be so dreamlike when they're working well. And then the leap of logic of like it being the most important creature, in a world where there's like dragons and krakens and all of this stuff, but the most important thing is like this little elephantine being. I feel like it's the fact that all the characters agree on this point and they're all looking for it is like the kind of thesis of the movie, where imagination is the most important thing, and that that everything begins in imagination, that the imagination of all of these cultures is the most important thing. So to me, it was like, the part of the thesis of the movie.
Yeah, and I know that took you a lot of time to get to this final version of the movie and everything. But what did you learn about yourself in this process?
You know, I learned about myself. I want to give you such a good answer. I have to like dive in. I think it was to listen to other people, because you know normally when you're working on projects, I mean, I did listen to other people before, but to open myself up even more, because like this movie is much better than I hoped. Like, you know, normally you have your part of why imagination is important is, you know, often reality intrudes and your dreams are crushed, and you kind of are left stumbling with whatever you have. But for this one, honestly, it turned out better than my dreams, and it's really because of Jane and John Carroll Kirby, the composer, and you know, I couldn't have, I don't, they really amped it up, and are so much a part of the movie. So I'm really glad I let those people in.
Yeah, I'm really glad too, because I really enjoy watching, and I think it's great, and I hope everybody you enjoy as well. So Dash, I just want to thank you so much for your time. It's a pleasure to talk to you. A lot of success, and I hope everybody liked the CryptoZookeepers like I did. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
If you like this video, don't forget to comment, to like, and subscribe to our channel right here.